get it, and that makes what's going on even worse. The people in Washington, D.C. know what's going on, and the only reason they're even talking about it now is because of organizations like FAIR and all of our activists that are out there working, and you and your industry and talk radio that's found the issue and is continuing to bring it to the attention of the voters. That's the only reason they're even talking about it now.
By the way, give out your website.
It's www.fairus.org, FAIRUS.org, and you'll find lots of information on your state, your community, how to start a group, how to get involved in contacting your elected officials. Let's go back and say one more thing about the fence. You know, if there was been a fence down there along the Rio Grande, those Mexican Army types wouldn't have been able to be dragging in that ton of pot that they got caught on videotape doing the other day. Isn't that interesting?
It's amazing that and I mean this kindly, Lou Dobbs at CNN has stolen my act. I have warned this country ever since 1987 about what's been going on, the selling off American factories and then free trade and all that nonsense and GATT and WTO. But Lou, thank God, has picked this up, and at least he's a voice. And I've never talked to him and I've never written to him, but he's doing a good job. But the bottom line is this. When you look at the average newspaper, especially the Wall Street Journal, you'll never see an article like this. I mean, the Wall Street Journal, in my opinion, and I wrote a letter to Karen Elliott House, the publisher, and I said, I'm canceling my subscription after 30 years of reading the Journal because you folks have done more to bankrupt America than anybody else with your policy. And believe it or not, she wrote me back, and I got my refund. And then all of a sudden the Journal started again, but that's a whole other story. But the point of it is the people at the economic top of the ladder know exactly what's going on, and they don't care because they're all members of the I've Got Mine Club. They will never personally pay for the mistakes they've made or the destruction they've caused America.
Well, then it's up to Americans, to do something about it. But here's the thing. See, the mainstream media has now changed, and the new mainstream media is talk radio and the Internet. Marshall McLuhan's Global Village is truly here now. I don't think it was really here when he first coined that phrase, but it is here now because it allows conversations to go both ways. You talk to your audience talks back to you, and they talk to their elected officials. And I hear it in capitals all over the country now. What are they talking about on talk radio in my jurisdiction? And so, the new mainstream media, be that the Internet, cable news to a certain extent, but certainly talk radio, has done so much to bring the facts and the truth of many situations, not just the immigration debacle, to the attention of the American voters. And then it's up to us to do something. And I've said this so many times, I'll just repeat myself. The best system in the world won't work if we won't. We have got to work the system. Citizens have got to stand up and grab hold of the electoral system and let their elected officials know. I think there's very few leaders anymore. They're just simply elected officials. Let them know who they work for and that they better do what we want them to do, or we're going to act like any boss does when the employee doesn't do the job.
All right, Tom Tancredo, and there's another congressman who just wrote a book, and I remember the title, No Matter What It Takes, I believe is the title. When we come back, give us some comments about some of the good guys who are doing something.
All right, Rick Ultmen has been the guest, and for our stations over Liberty News Network, we apologize for the audio, but you must admit the content is unbelievably accurate, and you can't get any more than that with Chuck and his guest, Rick Ultmen from FAIR, but miles ahead of so many people that have the guts, the fruition to actually talk about it, the knowledge to be able to execute it, and Chuck was such a guy to be able to deliver it. And for the people, what a timely program for America. And thank God we have some people in the White House, and mainly Donald Trump, to be able to stand up for these American ideals, for the American worker, for the American individual that claims and loves his country. Politicians have clearly made it very difficult to be able to get ahead, and if Donald Trump gets his way, and if politicians in his own party would allow Donald Trump to be able to make America great, I believe truly we can take our country back. This is something that I believed in so much that I quit my job in Memphis, Tennessee, a very lucrative career, to join Chuck's organization back in the 90s because this was the thinking back then. And he paid a very dear price for that. And I'll never forget when I read a letter in the office next to Pat Choate, Ed Miller, and the UAW when they said that Chuck was going to be removed off the air the very next day because of his views, and very critical, obviously, of the Clinton administration, and they put an 18-year audit on him after that and destroyed his good name. So whenever we can pay homage to a man who has literally given his life for this country, and he mentioned Lou Dobbs taking his act, well, so many other talk show hosts have done the very same thing, and Chuck certainly was influential in many people's lives, including Mr. Sam Bushman of Liberty News, Jay Harrison. These folks would have never had a job had it not been for Chuck or an opportunity. You never know what your life is going to be worth. So we pay homage to Chuck, and sorry about the audio this hour. We do have another hour for some of the stations that's carrying us. I am Keith Allen for the people saying all the best. May God bless.